Here's your wrestling news for May 30th, 2022, and your headlines for today include CM Punk wins first world title in 9 years at AEW Double or Nothing. What happened after AEW Double or Nothing went off air? Wardlow destroys MJF with 10 powerbombs at AEW Double or Nothing. MJF stretchered out of the arena. AEW stars are more open to signing with WWE. The Rock's daughter gets name change before WWE television debut. Darby Allin's terrifying botch against former WWE superstar at AEW Double or Nothing. Britt Baker beats former WWE superstar to win the AEW Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. Ember makes AEW debut at Double or Nothing as Athena. Former UFC star makes AEW debut. Sammy Guevara accidentally superkicks Conti. Former WWE superstar Matt Cardona suffers unfortunate injury. WWE star undergoes ridiculous body transformation. Sasha Banks and Naomi's walkout criticized as irrational. Former WWE referee Dave Hebner dealing with health complications, and more. We are starting off today's news with CM Punk as the best in the world defeated Hangman Page to capture the AEW World title at Double or Nothing. The AEW title marks his first in 9 years, reigning until early 2013 with the WWE Championship. Their battle witnessed a story that almost saw Hangman Page turn heel as he appeared to be set to strike Punk with the belt to retain. His lapse in judgment proved to be fatal to his reign when the Cult of Personality reversed the buckshot lariat into a GTS for the pinfall. It was not plain sailing for the new champion throughout his challenge, as he had to survive an onslaught of offense from a considerably aggressive Cowboy. With the win, CM Punk looks set to begin a third summer of Punk in AEW, having done so previously with the world titles in WWE and ROH. Hangman, on the other hand, will have to take over his decisions and processes in the match, so nearly turning to the dark side and having this consideration cost him dearly. After the show was over, Punk thanked the crowd for coming out and supporting the company. The newly crowned AEW World Champion was then joined by ROH World Tag Team Champions AFTEER before he began his victory speech inside the ring. Punk thanked the whole AEW locker room, saying if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't be in the company in the first place. He also thanked the fans for making him and AFTEER the best performers in the world. The Second City Saint put over his wife, former WWE star AJ Lee, huge. Punk said his wife had always been supportive of him. The crowd gave a huge ovation to the performers after Double or Nothing came to a fitting conclusion. Wardlow decimated his arch-nemesis MJF at AEW Double or Nothing, securing a pinfall after a monumental 10 powerbombs. The clash came under question over recent reports when MJF failed to attend a meet and greet he had been promoted for. However, all the questions regarding the match taking place were answered. The Long Islander would open the show tonight in Las Vegas. Wardlow and MJF played a brief game of cat and mouse as the latter continued to try to outsmart his former bodyguard. Once the War Dog got a hold of his nemesis, however, it was over almost as soon as it started. 10 powerbombs and a 3 count later, MJF was left needing to be stretchered away from the arena. In winning the Double or Nothing opener, Wardlow has not only signed full-time to All Elite Wrestling, but he has also definitively put this rivalry to bed. He had to endure trials against the likes of Lance Archer, W. Morrissey, and Shawn Spears to earn this opportunity tonight at Double or Nothing. With MJF left stretchered out of the arena following the match, it would appear as though Wardlow has closed this chapter of his career where he is no more than a bodyguard. At AEW Double or Nothing, Britt Baker and Ruby Soho clashed in the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament Finals, and despite the latter's best efforts, the Doctor reigned supreme in the stellar bout. On her way to the finals, Baker defeated Danielle Kamela, Maki Ito, and Toni Storm. Meanwhile, the former WWE superstar beat Robin Renegade, Riho, and Chris Statlander. The two started the match off with a collar and elbow tie-up. Baker targeted Soho's ribs early in the match by driving her into a turnbuckle. She locked in the bow and arrow, targeting Ruby's torso as the latter tried to get out of it through strikes. Eventually, Soho found her way back into the match by conquering Baker's lockjaw attempt and hitting her with no future. She locked in the sharpshooter, but Britt avoided tapping out by biting her own hand and then got to the ropes. In the end, Britt Baker reversed the electric chair into a roll-up to get the pinfall victory. After the match, she showed respect to the former WWE superstar as she and Soho shook hands. As mentioned earlier, Baker is the inaugural winner of the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. It remains to be seen if she'll get any special perks in the AEW Women's title scene due to the victory. More from Double or Nothing is following Jade Cargill's successful TBS title defense against Anna Jay. There was a showdown in the middle of the ring. Then, new music hit and everyone looked towards the entrance. Athena came out as the Fallen Goddess. That's the same moniker she's been selling since her release from WWE. The Las Vegas crowd was very happy to see Athena, and she immediately got to work by establishing herself as a babyface. After her debut, Tony Khan announced that she's officially All Elite. Ember Moon took her time after WWE released her. She didn't jump right into the ring in any company, but that changed at Double or Nothing, and she is Athena once again. We have some sad news to report now, as former WWE referee Dave Hebner is dealing with health complications. NASCAR's Hermie Sadler noted on Twitter that he recently saw Dave Hebner, twin brother of Earl Hebner, and asked friends and fans to send some positive vibes his way. Nothing was said about what he's dealing with, but it is clear that his health is declining. Sadler also tagged a bunch of names in the wrestling business, including Mickie James, Mick Foley, Ric Flair, Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Kane, Gal Kim, Sergeant Slaughter, The Undertaker, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Rikishi. All of those names would have worked with Hebner at some point in their careers. Dave got his start in the late 1970s as a referee for the WWF, where he was a part of many historic matches, including Randy Savage vs. Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. He was also in the famous twin referee angle on the main event in 1988 that led to Hulk Hogan being screwed out of the WWF Championship and Andre the Giant handing the belt over to Ted DiBiase. That show was viewed by 33 million people, an all-time viewership record for pro wrestling in the United States. Hebner worked in WWF/E on and off camera until 2005, and then had a brief run in TNA Wrestling. We at Slatrock would like to send our best wishes to the former WWE referee during these tough times. Paige Van Zandt has long been trending towards a career in professional wrestling. When her run in the UFC came to an end in 2020, most believed her next stop would be in WWE. After a detour into bare-knuckle fighting, she finally chose to sign with AEW. Scorpio Sky's feud with Sammy Guevara and Frankie Kazarian has possibly reached its conclusion at AEW Double or Nothing. An enraged Scorpio had previously announced that he, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zandt would face Sammy, Ty Conti, and Frankie at the pay-per-view. The match also featured a high-stakes stipulation that if Scorpio won, the two contenders for the TNT title could never have a shot at the belt again. The match started off with Kazarian and the reigning TNT champion trading blows. However, it soon evolved into a conflict between the members of Sammy's side itself. At one point, the former TNT champion accidentally superkicked Ty Conti herself. Paige Van Zandt took full advantage of the chaos in the enemy camp. The debuting star seemed impressive in her first in-ring match as she took multiple shots at both the Spanish God and Ty Conti. The bout was exponentially simplified for the Men of the Year, who found it easy to take down a broken opposing team. As expected, the reigning AEW TNT champion kept his promise of winning the war. The massive win for the Men of the Year means that Frankie Kazarian and Sammy Guevara will no longer be able to challenge for the TNT title again. Fans can expect to see the belt around Scorpio Sky's waist for the foreseeable future. Back to WWE, as the company decided to release Jack Gallagher back in 2020 after some allegations came to light from several women. Now Gallagher looks like a completely different person after his release. Prior to joining WWE, Gallagher was part of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship and had competed in the British Independent Circuit from 2006 until 2016, where he was a part of the WWE Cruiserweight Classic. As revealed by his most recent photos, Gallagher looks unrecognizable as he is noticeably more ripped and has longer hair. It was announced earlier this year that Jack Gallagher had signed a contract to fight Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship again earlier this month when he managed the third-round KO over Rick Caruso. We'll have to see if he ever comes back to WWE again. For a long time now, Stephanie McMahon was the chief brand officer of WWE. However, fans were surprised when she announced that she will be stepping down from her position to spend time with her family. Nick Khan is currently taking over her role, but WWE plans to bring in a new full-time hire to fill some of her duties. While speaking on We're Live Pal, Andrew Zarian addressed Stephanie McMahon's leave of absence and the various rumors surrounding her hiatus. Zarian stated that he had a conversation with someone high up, revealing that McMahon's abilities were actually questioned internally and also by investors. The comment was that internally, there was doubt put on Steph and her abilities as an executive. and a lot of this started after she absorbed some of Michelle Wilson's responsibilities after she left. One responsibility being ad sales and sponsorship. And the comment that I found interesting was that they mentioned that the investors were questioning why they weren't performing as well. And internally, there was some questioning as to why that wasn't performing. I think a month ago, WWE's head of global sales and partnerships, Claudine Lillian, she went over to handle that, and she was released a month ago, and Nick Khan has taken over all these responsibilities. When the Shane issue happened at the Royal Rumble, WWE was pretty quick to kind of say, yeah, he got sent home for all the reasons that you heard, right? I was not expecting the words to be used for Steph, because at the end of the day, the McMahons are the McMahons, and they are the most protected people in that company. This is indeed a tough situation for Stephanie. Only time will tell when she will be back. Darby Allin had a scary near miss during his clash with Kyle O'Reilly at AEW Double or Nothing. The face-painted Daredevil went to war with O'Reilly in the name of Sting, who fell victim to an attack this past week on AEW Dynamite. The Violent Artist and the rest of the Undisputed Elite unleashed a callous attack on the Icon, leaving him unable to attend the pay-per-view. During the clash between KOR and Darby, the latter went for a tope suicida. However, during his dive, he caught the rope and careened into his rival uncontrollably. Upon further viewing, Darby can consider himself fortunate that the hiccup had no serious ramifications. Ultimately, Kyle O'Reilly denied Darby his vengeance with a top rope knee drop to score the pinfall. Former WWE superstar Matt Cardona might now be sidelined with a very serious injury. Last night at Game Changer Wrestling's Downward Spiral, NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Matt Cardona defeated Blake Christian in a match he might have torn his bicep in. Christian continued to talk trash online last night following the loss, but Cardona's response to him, although in character, implies that the injury is serious. I think I tore my bicep and I still finished the match and beat you. Another sign that this injury is serious, Cardona missed his own after-party in Las Vegas that was scheduled last night in order to fly home to Orlando and get his bicep checked out instead. Late last night he tweeted out, "Sorry guys, gotta miss this after-party at Nerd Bar. Messed up my arm at GCW tonight and I need to get a red-eye to Orlando to get it checked out." Unfortunately for Cardona, he has a huge upcoming match on June 11th, where he is scheduled to defend his NWA World's Heavyweight Championship against Nick Aldis at the NWA pay-per-view Always Ready. The entire pay-per-view for the National Wrestling Alliance is based around Cardona, so if he's not able to compete in the main event, it'll be a huge blow not only for himself, but the company as well. For what it's worth, Cardona has been highly active on social media today, so hopefully he received better news from doctors than he initially anticipated when he flew home to Orlando last night. Only time will tell. More from WWE as Sasha Banks and Naomi made headlines after they walked out in the middle of WWE Raw last week despite being in the main event. It opened a can of worms, and even now, it remains a huge topic of discussion. WWE has been very aggressive when it comes to handing out punishment to both of them. WWE not only indefinitely suspended both of them, but buried them on live television. While speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Lance Storm talked about Sasha Banks and Naomi's walkout and criticized the walkout for being way too irrational. Maybe there was a dispute over that led to other frustrations that was the straw that broke the camel's back, but I just can't fathom we don't want to do this 6-person match and then singles programs the next pay-per-view, we're leaving. I just don't buy that. I know Sasha a little bit, I don't really know Naomi, but that's way too irrational to me. Both the wrestlers' careers hang in midair at the moment. Let's hope it ends well for both the parties. More on AEW as WWE was the obvious choice when Cody Rhodes left AEW. In fact, more AEW stars might be open to signing with WWE now. According to Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer radio show, more AEW stars are now willing to jump ship to WWE should there be an attractive offer on the table. He said, "There's been a big shift among people in AEW. Not that, they want out, but it's definitely different in the sense that I get the impression that more people are willing to go to WWE if they get, a great offer. Whereas a couple of years ago, it wasn't like they wouldn't go if they offered tons of money, but they were, so happy to be there in AEW. But now that they've seen Cody's made a lot of money and he's a top guy and he's getting pushed, now things have absolutely changed in terms of the way that people view potentially going to WWE. Surprisingly, even Jim Ross believes more AEW stars will jump ship to WWE in the future. Only time will tell whether these predictions will turn out to be true or not. And we're ending today with news from NXT as Simone Johnson has made headlines when WWE hired her back in 2020. The Rock's daughter has been training at the Performance Center ever since and recently gave WWE her new name ahead of her NXT debut. The 20-year-old Johnson took to Twitter and revealed that she will be known as Ava Ravine. Simone Johnson does not have the best luck when it comes to her physical well-being. She suffered multiple injuries during her training, but thankfully, she is finally healthy and more than ready to make her in-ring return now. We will have to wait and see when Ava Raine will debut in NXT and how she will fare, as fans are excited to see her debut. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.